Welcome to Sumner School Business Immigration Basics. In this video, we're covering the topic of the Prevailing Wage Request. The Prevailing Wage Request is one of the very first steps in the PERM labor certification process. It's a form that we submit to the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor will take several months. Right now, it's taking 6 to 7 months, but that's always subject to change. But they'll take several months to review it and process it. And then they will return to us, the attorney and the employer, what's called a prevailing wage determination. That means they will have reviewed the information on the prevailing wage request. And based on that information, they will say, okay, employer, this is the amount, also called the prevailing wage determination, or the prevailing wage. This is the amount that you have to pay the foreign national beneficiary when they receive the green card. So what goes on to a prevailing wage request form? Like I said, it's a form that we submit electronically to Department of Labor. It has some basic information like the employer's information, employer contact, the name of the company, the address, things like that. Has information about us, the attorney, the people making the request, and then it asks for specific information about the proffered position. That means the position for which the PERM labor certification is being filed. So the information on the prevailing wage request includes information such as the job title, the job duties, the requirements for the position, including the education requirements. That means the degree level and the field of study or fields of study that will be accepted. Any experience requirements, any specific skills that are required. If a license is required, that should be listed. Travel requirements should be listed. It's incredibly important that this information be thought through very carefully. It's important that this information be accurate, and there's a lot of strategy that goes into this information as well. It's important to keep in mind that for purposes of the PERM labor certification process, the Department of Labor only wants the information that is the minimum requirements for the position. So remember, throughout the PERM process, the employer is going through these steps to show that there's no U.S. worker who meets the minimum requirements for the position. So that means that if you have preferred requirements or preferred skills, ideal skills, the skills, experience, education of the beneficiary, those are not to be considered. You do have to consider what the beneficiary has. We'll talk about that in the next video, but you can't tailor the experience and education and skills requirements to exactly what the foreign national has. And again, we're not talking about what's preferred or what's ideal, but what is the minimum requirement for the position. It's so important that we get this right because this information on the prevailing wage request form forms the basis for the job description and requirements for the rest of the process. So all of the information that is in the prevailing wage request will inform what is put into the ads that we do as part of the recruitment. Again, we'll have later videos talking about that in more detail. And this information will be automatically integrated into the 9089. The 9089 is the form that we submit to the Department of Labor after all of the recruitment is done. It is the application form for the PERM labor certification application. So again, information will be pulled directly from that form, this form that we submit, the prevailing wage request form. There's not an opportunity to change it. We cannot change it. So sometimes we have clients reviewing the 9089 before we submit it to Department of Labor, and they ask if we can change this requirement or change this education. No, that is set at the prevailing wage request level, and it can't be changed after that. So again, it has to be done very intentionally with a lot of thought. It has to be accurate, and it cannot be tailored to what the foreign national actually has. In our next video, we're going to talk about some considerations, some things to think about as you are determining what the actual minimum requirements for the position are. Until next time, I'm Emily Sumner with Sumner Immigration Law. I hope that you have found this video helpful. If so, please share it with a friend and make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss our next video. Until next time.